Rolex is a Swiss watch company. Rolex watches have great reputation among the people of the world. Rolex was said to some luxurious, rich, polite people who had very good culture and manners. These people were the discoverers of diamonds, and everything they had was made of diamonds. Then in the following years they chose that name for the watch company in the ranking of the world's most powerful brands in 2012 by Forbes. Rolex is ranked 57. History. Getting started. Alfred Davies and Hans Wilsdorf were half-brothers who in the same year 1905, together with another company, imported Hermann Swiss engines to England and sold them to other watch manufacturers such as Denison. These watches were first engraved with the names of these two brothers on their hands. It was produced in the form of W&D naming. In 1908, these two brothers chose the Rolex brand for their business and opened their office in Switzerland. According to Wilsdorf, the name Rolex could be pronounced in many languages and had few letters and was therefore easy to write. It was also short enough to be engraved on the body of the watch, and these were the reasons for choosing this name for the company. W&D. In World War. In 1919, with the start of the World War and the increase in the price of silver and gold in England, which was widely used in expensive watches, Wilsdorf left England for Geneva. In other words, the company moved to Geneva, Switzerland after 14 years, and from that year onwards, they continued the Rolex watch in Switzerland, the cradle of the world's wristwatch production, and were able to achieve many successes such as sales with a wide range in the whole world. Technologies. Rolex was the inventor of many watchmaking technologies in the world. Among these creations, the following can be mentioned. The world's first waterproof watch named Oyster. The first wristwatch with the ability to change the date automatically in 1945. The first waterproof wristwatch that worked up to a depth of 100 meters in 1953. The first wristwatch with the ability to display two separate times in 1954. The first wristwatch with the ability to change the day and date automatically in 1956. The first watch company that succeeded in obtaining a chronometer license for a wristwatch. Rolex recently introduced its first production titanium watch in November 2022 called Deep Sea, which is water resistant to a depth of 11,000 meters. About the company. Currently, Rolex, with 2,800 employees and sales representatives in many parts of the world, is the largest manufacturer of luxury wristwatches in the world, which produces an average of 2,000 watches per day, and in general, the price of Rolex watches is generally a little higher than the normal income of the society. Achievements. Among the company's notable improvements and innovations are, in 1926, Rolex produced the Oyster case. While they claim this was the first reliable waterproof wristwatch case based on a screw-down crown, it was not. De Paulier's case was patented 8 years earlier. To this end, Rolex acquired the Perigo-Pere screw-down patent, added a clutch and combined the screw-down crown with a threaded case back and bezel. Wilsdorf even had a specially made Rolex watch. The watch was called the Deep Sea, attached to the side of Trieste, which went to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. The watch survived and tested as having kept perfect time during its descent and ascent. This was confirmed by a telegram sent to Rolex the following day saying, "I am happy to confirm that even at 11,000 meters your watch is as precise as on the surface. Best regards, Jacques Picard." Earlier waterproof watches such as the submarine watch by Tavins used other means to seal the case. In 1910, the first watchmaker to earn chronometer certification for a small lady wristwatch, in 1931, released a wristwatch winding mechanism featuring a rotor, a full 360 degrees rotating weight to power the watch by the movement of the wearer's arm, as well as making watch winding unnecessary. It also kept the power from the mainspring more consistent, resulting in more reliable timekeeping. Fully rotating weights later became part of the standard winding mechanism of self-winding wristwatches. A preceding self-winding mechanism by Harwood instead used a weight that moved in a 270 degrees arcade, hitting buffer springs on both sides. In 1945, introduced the first chronometer wristwatch with an automatically changing date on the dial. Rolex Date Just Ref 4467. An earlier wristwatch with a date-changing mechanism by Mimo was not chronometer certified. In 1953, released a case waterproof to 100 m 330 feet in the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Submariner Ref 6204. Although this has been commonly publicized as the first diving watch, in 1932 Omega had released the Marine, which could stand 135 mts. 35 mts more than the 1953 Rolex Submariner. Blancpain produced their 50 Fathoms watch in 1953, 10 months before the Rolex Submariner. In 1954, produced a wristwatch which showed 2 time zones at once in the Rolex GMT Master Ref 6542. Yet again, It was not the first company to do so, as the Longines dual time preceded the GMT by a full quarter of a century. In 1956, Rolex made a wristwatch with an automatically changing day and date on the dial in the Rolex Day Date.